Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and you're most welcome to our Law Career webinar today. This is the first we are having of 2025. It is a Law Career webinar, and today we shall be focusing on law school admissions and law pre-entry exam preparation. So I am glad and honored to be the presenter for today's webinar. And maybe before I go ahead, I'd like to re-echo that this is the first of 2025. So we are going to have many more webinars before you even sit for the law pre-entry exam. If I'm to give an overview of what we shall be looking at today, one, we're going to first just briefly give an introduction about Vine Tutoring Hub, because Vine Tutoring Hub is the one hosting this webinar. Next, we shall be looking at the levels of legal education in Uganda. And then we shall be looking at admission to law school in Uganda and abroad. We'll be looking at the pre-entry exam, that is the law pre-entry exam, the content, the structure, the marking system. And then we'll be looking at preparing for the law pre-entry exam. How do you start preparing for it for success? And then finally, we shall have a Q&A session where members will be able to ask questions. So Vine Tutoring Hub is your trusted partner in academic, professional, and brand development. Our vision is to become a leading force in shaping confident, resilient, and accomplished individuals who excel academically and professionally, to make meaningful contributions to society and inspire others to reach their fullest potential. And our mission is to empower individuals through personalized mentoring, specialized tutoring, and comprehensive career development programs. So we aim to support students and professionals at every stage, fostering excellence, confidence, and skills for success in competitive environments. So our core values are excellence, empowerment, collaboration, growth mindset, commitment to impact, and integrity. So our biggest commitment amongst the core values is a commitment to excellence. We must make sure that we continuously innovate and improve our services so that every individual receives the best support that they could get from us. So because of that, we do ensure that the individuals who come to us for our services are empowered. We collaborate with them so that we understand their needs. We embrace learning as we embrace learning with our students, and then we are committed to impact. We measure our success by positive changes we make in the lives of our clients, inspiring them to impact their personal lives and communities. And then most importantly, we do value integrity. We uphold the highest standard of honesty, ethics, and professionalism, fostering trust in every interaction we have. So we have a number of services. When we started in 2017, we started as Vine Associates. Yes, Vine Associates, Vine Legal Associates. And our only and major service then was the law pre-entry exam tutoring. That's what we started with. But over those years, up to 2024, we have been able to expand our services to include services like personal and corporate branding, career guidance and mentoring for individuals and schools for different professions. We have CV and profile development. We have corporate training. We have application assistance, interview preparation, language skills development like French, German, and aptitude test preparation. So that's why we are now Vine Tutoring Hub. Our company is registered, as you can see. It is fully registered under the Companies Act of Uganda, and we do have a certificate of incorporation that is updated to fit 23rd September 2024. And yes, the services we are doing are in line with what we registered for. As you can see from our memorandum of association, our objects under clause 3 is that we are to engage in diverse ventures involving provision of education and mentorship services, and then to provide professional services for the community or target demographic. Yes. So back to our presentation. Today's webinar, as I said, is going to be on law school admissions and preparation for the law pre-entry exam. But it's prudent we take you through the levels of legal education, because many people say, I want to join law school, I want to become a lawyer, but they have not had a proper understanding of what is law school, what are the levels, at what point can you call yourself counsel, advocate, or maybe you want to become a judge, what does it take? So briefly, I'm going to take you through the levels of legal education. In Uganda, it's about 5 levels. The maximum you can reach is 5. The first level, which is the lowest, is a diploma. The diploma is a foundational legal qualification offered by institutions like the Law Development Center to equip students with basic legal knowledge, emphasis on the word basic, and skills for paralegal work or further legal studies. It usually takes 1.5 years. Now, this diploma is usually for people who just want to have a small, rough understanding of the law. So people usually go for this, as I said, are people who just want to have basic knowledge. Let's say maybe you did accounting, you did social sciences, but you want some little knowledge about law. You can do this course that takes 1.5 years. Usually, if you have your grades, if you have your 2 principal passes, you don't need to go for the diploma. You need to just go straight and do the degree. Now, the law degree in Uganda is known as LLB. LLB is Legium Baccalaureus. I believe Marion should be able to type it on the chat box. But it's an Italian term, not Italian, it's a Latin term to mean bachelors of laws, because much of the legal systems come from Latin. So it is a 4-year comprehensive program that gives in-depth knowledge of legal principles, critical thinking, research skills, preparing students for professional and legal practice or advanced studies. So with that law degree of 4 years, you get to know the law itself. You get to know what is the law of evidence, what is land law, what is company law, what is criminal law. So you get to know it in detail, theoretically. Let's say you know about what are the possible crimes in Uganda, let's say under criminal law, what is murder as a crime, what are the elements of murder. You get to learn about things like mens rea, actus reus, and those different legal principles. So you learn that under the degree. Now, when you're done with the degree, this is at this stage, right after the degree. When you have your degree, you're entitled to being called a lawyer. When you get your degree, you can now be called a lawyer. And from there, there are many things you can do. You can do research work, you can work in a non-government organization, you can work in different entities that allow degree. Now, after the degree, the next stage is the bar course. The bar course, which is known as the postgraduate diploma in legal practice. This is a mandatory 1-year program in Uganda for law graduates aiming to practice as advocates, providing essential skills in litigation, drafting, and ethics for bar enrollment. Basically, to be enrolled in the High Court of Uganda. Now, the difference between a degree and the bar course is that the bar course is the foundation you need for you to be enrolled as an advocate in Uganda. An advocate is an advocate as defined in the Advocates Act. Basically, for you to proceed in court, for example, if you go to the High Court, you need to have a license. You don't just, the degree is not enough. You need to have a license. You need to make sure you're enrolled and you're in the role of advocate for you to wear that gown. That's why you see LDC students start wearing that full gown, because it's a sign of you have the capacity to proceed before a court of law. But with just your law degree from Makerere, UCU, or any other university, it's not enough. So for you to proceed at least to the High Court of Uganda, you need to have gone through the bar course. But however, even people with degrees can proceed. For example, if you go to the industrial court that handles labor matters, or the tax tribunals, there are other courts, but they are lower and handle specific cases. With a law degree, you can actually proceed before those two courts. You understand? Or if you just have a law degree, you could work and do legal work like in a law firm. You could do research and clerk work, and that will enable you to practice law. But of course, you won't go to court. It's the same thing you also get from the diploma in law. If you want to be a court process server, like handling documents, filing in court, usually they ask for at least a diploma in law. So after the bar course, you get your certificate. That is a postgraduate diploma in legal practice, and that is what you use to apply to be enrolled as an advocate of the High Court of Uganda. So when you apply, you'll be enrolled, and from that you can be able to start going to court, representing clients, introducing yourself as an advocate. You get, because you can't be a lawyer and you call yourself an advocate yet. You're not yet licensed, or you don't have a practicing certificate. So at least on a bare minimum, for you to have a good going legal career in Uganda, you need at least to reach the level of bar course, and that's where most people put the cap and stop. But however, they're still higher than that. Maybe before I go ahead, I would like to mention that the bar course is a 1-year program. So between the time you start your degree to your bar course, it will be 5 years, and then plus 1 year to get enrolled. So by the time you're able to present before the High Court of Uganda, it's going to take you about 6.5 years. So I just wanted to make that clear. Then after that, we have the Masters of Laws. The Masters of Laws is referred to as LLM. It's also a Latin term. I think it's something like Legium Makerere, something like that. So the Masters of Laws is a postgraduate program that provides advanced legal education, allowing students to specialize and enhance their knowledge in areas like international law, human rights, commercial law, etc. So the master's is more like if you want to specialize in a specific part. Let's say for you, you've done your degree, you've done your bar course, but you're like, I don't like going to court much. I don't like being in-house counsel, but I want to be a human rights expert. So if you want to be an expert in a particular part of law, then you have to specialize from your master's. You can specialize in human rights. You can specialize in environmental law. You can specialize even in governance law and things like that. So from the master's level, you're able to specialize, and it takes about 1 to 2 years depending on the program and the university. And then the highest form of legal education in Uganda is the PhD. It focuses on advanced research and academic inquiry. It is designed for those aiming to contribute to legal scholarship, pursue careers in academia, or influence legal reforms. So it takes about 3 to 5 years. So if you're looking at very advanced positions, for example, if you want to become a professor or even a lecturer at big universities like Makerere University, they would want you to have at least a PhD. Even masters may not be enough. Okay, some universities you can start teaching with a master's. Even bar course, you can become a teaching assistant. But for you to become a professor, a reputable professor, you'd have to go up to PhD level. So in total, let's say you've done the diploma. Okay, most people go straight to degree. Degree 4 years, bar course 1.5, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In 11 years, from 11 years from now, okay, let's say minimum of 11, 12 years, it's very possible for you to achieve professor status. And this format, these levels of legal education that I've explained, it's not just in Uganda. This system is also similar in Kenya, in Nigeria, in South Africa, and in United Kingdom. And why United Kingdom? Because Uganda was colonized by Britain. We started using the common law system. That's why you find most of our laws and our even education systems come from the United Kingdom, because they colonized us and we inherited the common law system. So in the United Kingdom, I believe there are people here who could be considering studying law in the UK. It's not different from Uganda, but for them it's a bit of a twist. For them, they have you start with a degree, and their degree, most universities do it for 3. There are a few that do for 4. Most universities, I believe, do 3. And then when you're done with your degree, you then go to do a legal practice course. Now, for them, what they refer to as, let's say, bar course in Uganda, for them, they split it into 2 different levels. The first sort of bar course, which is, I don't want to say bar course, it's sort of like a legal practice course. There is a 1-year program for people who want to become solicitors. Solicitors are people who do the groundwork. For example, if you go to a law firm, there are people who do research. There are people who go to court to present those findings for a case. Now, for those lawyers who want to do groundwork, serving documents, engaging with clients, those are the solicitors. Now, if you want to go to court, the system in the UK is now you have to go for a bar training, which I believe is their bar course. It is formally known as the Bar Professional Training Course. So it's a 1-year program that focuses on advocacy, legal research, and ethics. So there you're trained and you'll be eligible to start representing clients in court. And then they have the master's and then the PhD program. So that's the system in the United Kingdom. Now, in the US is not predominantly a common law practicing country. So their system is different from what we practice in Uganda and other common law countries. For them, if you want to study law, you begin with a pre-law degree. Basically, for them, you don't just go straight to law school. You must first earn a degree, a bachelor's degree in any field. The common fields, of course, people go for political science, history, economics. Yeah, any major is acceptable. So when you do a pre-law degree, at least for 3 years, then you now apply for the law school's admissions test. So it is a standardized example. It's a test that you do, and it evaluates your critical thinking, analytical reasoning, and logical skills. And they give you scores from 120 to 180. So within that range, something like that. So it's sort of like a pre-entry exam to be admitted to a law school. And this is a must. It is a must for anyone who wants to do law. Regardless of which university you're going to, you must do the law school admission test. Now, the score you get in that test is what determines the university you go to. Let's say if you score average, you go into an average university. If you score low, some universities may not give. If you score highly, of course, the good schools like Harvard, Yale, etc. will be able to admit you. So when you pass that and you get admitted, you now go and do the Juris Doctor, which is the JD. The JD is actually the law degree in the US. It is a 3-year professional degree required to practice law in the US, covering core legal subjects and preparing graduates for the bar exam. And then for them, after the degree, you go and do the bar exam. Now the bar exam is what gives you a license to now start practicing law. And the beauty with their bar exam is the US system is a bit flexible. if let's say you studied law in Uganda and you go and study masters in the US, if you feel like you want to start practicing law in the US, you may not necessarily have to go back and do a law degree in the US. You just do the bar exam. If you pass, then you'll be eligible. Of course, there are other things like they call them clerkships. There are some forms of internships that are compulsory. You must work under, I think, a law firm or a legal entity from 1 to 2 years, depending. Yeah, so you can do the bar exam and be licensed. Then they also have the masters, which I've already explained, and then they have the SJD. This is basically the PhD, as I explained. So that is it for legal education in the US. Now back to Uganda. I believe majority of you are looking at studying law in Uganda. There are a number of universities that offer law in Uganda. You have Makerere University. You have the Law Development Center. Of course, it gives the diploma. The Law Development Center is an institution in Uganda that is mandated to, first of all, give the bar course, that is a postgraduate diploma in legal practice, but then also the diploma in law, the pre-diploma, they also offer it. Even Uganda Christian University has that diploma. They also offer that degree. So all these universities that are listed, Metropolitan, Cavendish, Uganda Pentecostal University, Victoria University, International University of East Africa, that is IUEA, Nkumba, all of these, KIU, they do offer the law degree. So you can apply to any of them of your interest, and then you should be able to get an admission if you're eligible. So to be admitted to law school in Uganda, the bare minimum, you need at least 2 principal passes in the USCE exams. So with grades ranging from A to E, as long as you have not gotten a flat F, that is not a principal. A principal pass is if you have from E to A, that's going upwards, yeah? So you have to make sure that you get at least 2 principal passes, which means someone even with 6 points or 8 points can be admitted to a university, depending on the university. And then you have to fill out the necessary application forms and pay the necessary fees. For example, each of those universities, they have application forms you can fill online. Some are physical, and then you'll be able to pay the fees in the bank. And then once you're admitted, you just need to pay tuition, functional fees, and then you'll be able to start studying law in that particular university. There are some universities that have very, very special requirements. One of them is Makerere University. This is the oldest law school in Uganda, and it's the most demanded. Makerere University School of Law. To join School of Law in this university, you are required to first of all apply to do the law school pre-entry exams. For you to do the law school pre-entry exams, for boys, you need at least 13 points from your USCE, and from girls, you need at least 12 points from your USCE. And this pre-entry exam is open to both arts and science students, whether you have a PCB background, PEM, HEL, even if you have done history or Islamic, Uganda, etc. As long as you have the points, you can apply for this exam. And just to make it clear, that GP point is not necessary. If you miss your GP points, let's say you have 14 points or 13, but you didn't get GP, that won't stop you from applying. So after you've applied, there's going to be an advert that will be put after your results are out, whereby they'll tell you to go and apply either online or you'll fill a form, and then you'll be able to do the exam. And to be considered to have passed this exam, you must have scored 50% and above. So as long as you've scored 50% and above, you're considered to have passed. The same case with UCU. They also have a low pre-entry exam at the Uganda Christian University. For them, they need at least 10 points for both girls and boys. And you need to at least score 50% and above. So at Makerere, when you're done with the low pre-entry exam, getting 50% is not enough, because 50% is what qualifies you to be considered for admission, because there is a team that handles pre-entry, and then the list of those who have passed is forwarded. So you find that let's say, for example, last year, if I remember very well, the exam was sat by 2,800 students, 400 to 400. I think Marion should be able to share a copy of those results on the WhatsApp group. Only 400 out of 2,800 were able to pass that exam. And the people who go and sit for that exam are very many. It's high school leavers, both science and art students. You have diploma holders, people who have done diplomas in other courses like IT and those other courses. They come back, those who want to do law. You have degree holders. Degree holders are people who, let's say you did a degree in social sciences, but you don't want to practice it. You can come back, do this pre-entry exam, and then you're admitted for law. Actually, a big percentage of people who go to law school at MOOC, you'll find most of them are old, like above 30. Yeah, so the people who sit for this exam are many. That's why it's extremely competitive. So as I said, you have to score 50%, and then you go, they're considered for admission. Now, in terms of admission, the maximum Makerere can actually admit is 300 students, because that is the number recommended by Law Council for every university per intake. There's someone who asked, is it possible to get above 50 and fail to be admitted? Yes, you can pass the low pre-entry exam and fail to be admitted, because the admissions list, they are looking at the top 300. You know, last year, many people passed. In the year I sat for pre-entry, that is 2017, we were only 180 people who got 50% and above. Our paper, I believe, was the hardest pre-entry exam ever set, followed by the 2022 exam. Those two were very, very hard. I think if you go through the past papers, you'll see how interesting the questions were. And for Makerere, they'll strictly take those who have passed. Even if you're 100 students who have passed the pre-entry exam, they'll only take those 100. That's why you have to work extremely hard. So they will take the best. Last year, they even took 400 people passed, but they only took 180, because the people who joined last year joined in a period where Makerere Law School was shifting from the old school to the new school, and some, I think, buildings had been destroyed, so they didn't have space. A number of classes were destroyed, so they could only go with 180. But I believe next year they'll go back to admitting a maximum of 300 students. And then for you to get government scholarship, you need about 25. So you need to be among the top 25 to 35 in the law school pre-entry exam. Emphasis on top 25. For them, what they look at are the top people who put law on their Pujab forms that have excelled among the best in the pre-entry exam. So what determines whether you get government is not the mark you get, but your ranking as an individual. Let me give you an example. In the year I sat for pre-entry, I think the best person had 60 something. Yeah, it had the best person had about 68, and they gave government scholarships for people who had as low as 58. You are able to get government. Yet the next year, people with 62 were not able to get into law school because that year there's an overwhelming passing rate. Out of 2,000 something students, 650 passed pre-entry with 50 and above. So in that regard, there were many 80s and 70s. So they specifically take the best 25 to 35. Sometimes they take up to 40 if there is funding. But now, because there is limited funding, they are, I think in Marion's, I think she'll confirm for us later, they took 25 students. They took very few students on government. So for you to get government, you must be extremely excellent when it comes to this paper. So it's good we are telling you early. And then also Makerere only has September intake. When you go to other universities, I think like IUEA, they have January, they have May, and then they have August, September intake. But for Makerere University, they only have September. For UCU, for them, they can admit 500 to 600 students. This is because they have two campuses. They have Kampala campus and Mukono campus. So they can admit like 300 in Mukono and another 300 in Kampala campus. And as far as last year is concerned, they only have a May intake. They used to have May and September, but now they only have May. And this is a very important factor because you find the pre-entries for UCU and MOOC are done within the same period. You may find that the pre-entry results for UCU may come, and yet MOOC has not yet released their results. So most students find it difficult in making a decision whether to go with the admission at UCU or risk waiting and get the Makerere admission. So I wanted to alert you on this before even you start preparing, because it's an important factor that we usually juggle with our students during the pre-entry and the admission season. So yes, you can also apply to other universities, even within East Africa. One popular school of law that Ugandans like to go to is Strathmore University School of Law. The admission, all you need to do is fill an application form. They do some entry exams. They are like the law pre-entry exams, but theirs is a bit more advanced. Then you do an interview, and then you pay fees, and then you'll be able to join Strathmore. Yeah. So regarding universities abroad, the general tips I can give you, let's say those who want to go to Kenya, Tanzania, maybe you want to go to University of Dar es Salaam, you want to go to Nigeria, Ghana, you want to go to South Africa, you want to go to the US, you want to go to the UK, you want to go to, other countries in Europe. Be sure that you understand the requirements for each university. You must keep in mind the deadlines and the tests for each university, because some of these processes could take a whole year. So make sure you plan. Make sure you have strong application materials. For example, you have the good grades. Even here in East Africa, they do grades. For example, if you're going to University of Dar es Salaam and you're Ugandan, they need at least 17 points. So you must have a compelling personal statement and strong recommendation letters. You must show that you're interested in law through your extra curricular activities like debate, to show that you're really interested. Then you must plan financially, because most of these good universities abroad are quite expensive. Most of them will require you to pay like 18 million a year. Some universities you pay 24. There are even universities where you're paying up to 100 million. So you need to plan finances. Are you able to afford? Do you have access to scholarships? Are you considering work study opportunities? Then look at the culture and global fit, because you're going to go into another country, and you're going to have to blend with other people. And also note that when you're applying for these universities, most likely the country of the university you're studying is where you're going to practice law, because for you to come back to Uganda, you have to do at least the bar course if you're from a common law country. And then seek support as you apply to these universities. Connect with alumni, mentors, counselors for advice and feedback on your application. And most of these big universities abroad, they actually give you admission assistance to guide you through. So that's it for the tips of applying for law school abroad. Yeah, we are going to look at the law pre-entry exam specifically for Makerere University. Now, before the law pre-entry exam came, Makerere University used to admit students on merit. Those days when they had 25 points instead of 20. If you had your 24 points, if you have your 25 points, you can just apply and they give you on merit from your USCE results. But with time, they got to realize that there was a certain lacking in the quality of law students that were coming out. You'd find there are certain imbalances. Some schools had more people than others, and then also people were dropping out from law school. Someone gets 25 points, but by second year they have dropped out. So the admissions team sat down and realized they need to put another test on top of the USCE results so that they would get the quality of students who are looking for, because the law course is demanding. You have to be very critical in how you think. You must be analytical. You must be research-based. And these are some of the things I've talked about in detail in my book, that is Navigating the Law School Pre-Entry Exams, a comprehensive guide. I actually elaborate on this history in quite a detailed manner. So the purpose of the law pre-entry exam and why it was introduced in Makerere University was to assess the readiness of candidates for the rigorous LLB program. So it started in 2012, and approximately 2,500 to 2,800 students, including high school students, graduates, diploma holders, degree holders, and mature age applicants, they all sit for this exam, as I've said. And then 300 to 400 candidates pass, which is approximately 10 to 4%. So the Makerere Law Pre-Entry exam is a written exam. It's marked out of 100%. It is 3 hours, and this exam is usually done 4 to 6 weeks after the release of USCE exams. The law school pre-entry exam of Makerere, as I've said, it's marked out of 100, and the examinable areas include aptitude, which contributes 15%, language skills, which contributes 30%, numerical skills, which contribute 20%, general knowledge, which contributes 25%, and then analytical writing, which contributes 10%. So you have to keep in mind these, because this is what is going to help you prepare better and balance your preparation. The first section, as I said, is aptitude. It's usually the first section. It's marked out of 15, and what it does as a test, it measures a person's natural ability or potential to succeed in specific tasks or learn new skills, often assessing areas like logic, reasoning, and problem solving. An example of the areas, the examinable areas of aptitude include logical reasoning, quantitative aptitude that involves numbers, verbal ability, data interpretation, critical thinking. There is verbal reasoning. There are riddles. They can also ask you riddles. They are examinable. If you look at past papers in the year with 2017, yes, they gave us a very interesting riddle, and the question was something like, you're supposed to get out of a building, and there are 3 rooms, right? There are 3 rooms. One room is full of blazing fire. The second room is it has men with loaded guns, And then the third room has a lion that hasn't eaten for 8 weeks. From those 3 rooms, which room would you go through and why? Of course, they gave them A, B, C, D. But is it room A, room B, room C? I think the third was none of the above or something. I don't think they actually put none of the above. It was A, B, and C. So you had to go through at least one of the rooms. So those are the kind of videos you can expect them to bring. So I was still saying they set aptitude. For example, such questions under logical reasoning. If the first 2 statements are true, analyze if the final statement is true. So they'll tell you all cars have wheels, some cars are red, all red things have wheels. So is a final statement true, false, cannot be determined, or true only if the cars are red? So you have to find the correct answer. Or they could ask you something under quantitative aptitude. A clock shows the time as 3:15. What is the angle between the hour hand and the minute hand? 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 90 degrees. So these are the kinds of questions. I didn't bring them here for us to discuss because it could take time. But I just wanted to give you, to show you samples of some of these questions. And then the next section is language skills. Language skills is the ability to comprehend and analyze written texts, focusing on understanding vocab, sentence structure, and the overall meaning of words and sentences. So under language skills, the examinable areas include reading, your ability to interpret and analyze text, comprehension, understanding and extracting meanings from text, and then language in terms of vocab, sentence structure, and grammar. So if you have a good foundation of English from your O level, then you should be able to do this section very well, because it's not very far from what you did in form of the English you had. It's just a bit, it's actually more advanced. But if you did your English well, you got a D1, a D2, and let's say a C3, this section wouldn't be so hard. So examples of such questions that come under language skills, they could tell you, choose the word that is most similar to them in meaning to the word recondite. Obvious, simple, complex, familiar. So you need to have a very good understanding of vocab, because now such a word that's rarely used, they could easily use it to examine you. Or they could also give you passages under comprehension. They give you a long passage and then they ask you questions to see if you can actually understand such texts. And this is a very important skill, because throughout law school, you're going to have to use English, and not just normal English, the normal conversational English. When it comes to the law, there are a lot of complex terms and complex, the texts are so complicated. So for you to go through law school smoothly, you must make sure that you're good at language skills. That's why it carries the most marks, 30%, because this is the thing they need the most. Yeah. That's why, as I said, even science students can do law, because they believe if a science student can do the law pre-entry exam and pass language skills very well, it means despite their science background, they can actually understand some of the complicated texts and language used in law school. So that's why it's examined. And then we have numerical skills. Numerical skills is the ability to understand and work with numbers, including basic arithmetic percentages, ratios, data interpretation. So these skills are essential for solving mathematical and real-life problems involving calculation and analysis. So the numerical skills they give you, they test, it's not like the pure math, or not even so much like the sub-math you did. This is more of logical math. It involves a lot of logic. An example of such questions, like here on the screen, they can ask you, If 3 workers can complete a task in 18 days, how many days will 6 workers take to complete the same task if one worker gets sick on the second day and is unable to work for the remainder of the task? So they'll give you options like 9, 10, 12, 15, or even none of the above. So you must be able to interpret this data and then translate it in form of numbers, and from those numbers you're able to get a proper answer. Or they could even ask you, sometimes they could ask you traditional mathematical topics like ratios, but then of course they twist it to the logic bit. The ratio of ages A, B and C is 5, 7, 9. These are people. After 4 years, the sum of their ages will be 72. What is the present age of C? 18, 20, 22, 24. So it comes to you interpreting data, changing it to numbers, and then being able to extract the answer. Yeah. Then another section that's set is general knowledge. General knowledge is a broad understanding of various subjects such as history, geography, science, current affairs, culture. It includes widely known facts and information that will help individuals understand the world around them. So, general knowledge question, I believe this is the most dreaded part of the law pre-entry exam when people go through. So they can ask anything. As I've said, they look at history, geography, current events, anything they could ask. Science, politics. Some of the samples here include: which Ugandan king was the first to be exiled during the colonial era? So this is something from your O-level history. Or which is the longest river in the world? This is geography. History: in which year did the Titanic sink? Or what is the capital city of Japan? So these are things you have to keep in mind. So the final and last section of the exam, as far as MOOC is concerned, is analytical writing. So analytical writing as a test evaluates your ability to assess, interpret, break down information. It involves analyzing a topic, presenting logical arguments, supporting conclusions with evidence, and communicating ideas clearly in written form. The goal is to assess your critical thinking and writing skills. So the word analytical writing usually confuses people who have not come across it. But for me to make it easier for you to understand, when I was preparing for the law school pre-entry exam, the person who mentored me told me, you know, the essays you've been doing in history, like A-level, are not really analytical writing as much. Analytical writing, for you to understand it, think of it as more of a debate, like how you debate with someone, but in written form. So it's the art of writing a debate. That's why you find in most analytical writing questions, you have questions like with examine, assess, discuss. You're looking at words like magnitude, extent. So that is analytical writing. Questions, examples that have analytical writing. The first question here is: social media has done more harm than good. Discuss. Or artificial intelligence in decision-making processes presents more ethical challenges than benefits. Discuss. Corruption in Uganda has become so entrenched that it undermines the country's efforts towards sustainable development. Discuss. So these are the kinds of questions that they'll give you, and they like to frame them around development areas. I think those who buy the book and come for our coaching program will be able to discuss some of these topics, so that when they come and they examine you and them, you actually have enough data on that topic. Because it's one thing for you to know how to write, to do analytical writing, but then don't have much data like statistics or foundational knowledge of a particular question. So during our pre-entry training program, we'll be able to teach you how to handle this section, because we believe these 10 marks, these are free marks. This is the easiest part of the exam. the easiest part of the exam if you actually prepared for it. The Uganda Christian University Law Pre-Entry exam is written and oral. They have two. Their written exam, they just pick two sections. They can decide to examine you on language skills and aptitude, or language skills and numerical skills. It's not standard, but it's not very far from what you do at MOOC. Actually, by the time you prepare for MOOC pre-entry exam, this written exam of UCU is easy. What makes the UCU exam interesting is the fact that they have an oral exam that contributes 60%. You're supposed to sit before a panel and you present based on the questions they ask you. They could ask you, why do you want to join law school? Which political systems do you think are favorable for a country like Uganda? So you have to be prepared. And the beauty with our program is that we train you, we prepare you for these questions. We give you sample questions, we give you questions to look at. We even go as much as setting for you dummy panels, and we interview you and we correct you. That's how much we want you to pass. So the UCU Law Pre-Entry exam is marked out of 100 in total, and it's done in 2 phases. So you do both the written and the oral exam within 1 week. You could do your written exam on Monday or Tuesday, then they invite you for the oral exam on Thursday or Friday. So that's how it is. And it's usually done 2 to 4 weeks after the release of USCE results. So you have to also take in mind that important fact. Now, the special announcement is that Uganda Christian University, they put out their adverts early. And from their school calendar, it's clear that the 2025 Law Pre-Entry exam will be held from March 31st, 2025 to April 4th, 2025. So please do prepare accordingly. And then the tips for preparing for the Law Pre-Entry exam. I believe this is the part people have been waiting for. How do you prepare for the Law Pre-Entry exam? How do you prepare in such a way that you are assured of success, that it will be guaranteed for you not just to be among the top 300, the top 100, you want to be among the top 20, or let's say you want to excel so well that you get government scholarship. So these are the tips we are going to look at. How do you prepare for the Law Pre-Entry exam? And I'm going to give you different tips on how you can prepare from a general perspective. 1, begin with an open mind. I have to begin with this because pre-entry is a new journey. When you're going to prepare for pre-entry, start with a fresh, open mindset. Avoid any biases, preconceived notions about the exam. Approach it with a positive attitude, ready to absorb and learn. This is why yesterday when people in group were asking, what if I fail? And I would immediately tell them, no, you're not going to fail. You can't have such a mindset this early. So start with a fresh mindset. Believe you can pass, because people have done it and they have passed. And the beauty with this pre-entry exam is that it is a leveling ground. It's such a leveler that regardless of whether you got 13 points, 12 points, 15 or 20 points, you can still do this exam and pass highly if you prepare well. So you have to start with a fresh, opened mindset. I don't know if you are the head boy, or you are the head girl, or you are the biggest debater in your year. For the sake of pre-entry, first put those accolades on the shelf, because you need to prepare with an open, you need to prepare with a fresh mind, and you need to be very sober. Don't be easily waved by these accolades. Yeah, they are good, they will help you, but for pre-entry, first be humble and start preparing like you know nothing. Yeah. Number 2, know the structure of the exam. familiarize yourself with the structure of the exam. And so you need to understand the subjects tested, the format. Is it multi-choice? Is it essay? Then the time allocated for each section. So this will help you manage your time effectively during the exam. And it will also help you prepare accordingly. You understand? You will be shocked that there are a number of people, because there are 2,800 people. There are a number of people who they wake up when results are back, and then they register for pre-entry 2 weeks to the exam. They have never even seen what pre-entry looks like. They just paid, they come and do. So you imagine in such a scenario, you could even find a student who is brilliant, but because they are spending so much time reading the instructions and things like that. But when you familiarize yourself with the structure, it actually gives you an advantage. Then start preparing early. You people have a lot of time on your hands. Most of you are in VAC. You're not doing much. I believe only just a few of you are working. So you need to learn how to prepare for this exam early. Give yourself ample time. Begin studying in advance. One of the examinable areas are current affairs. By now, all of you should be watching local news, international news every day, and have a clear schedule. Regardless, because not everyone wants to coach for pre-entry. Some want to coach, but as long as you're going to prepare for pre-entry, start doing self-reading on your own. It is prudent you start preparing early. We have sent those papers in soft copies, so start from there. Look at the structure, do some research on those different topics that are examined. So you start preparing early. Then get tutorship and mentorship. You can seek guidance from tutors, experts, or individuals who have successfully passed the exam. Their insights and advice can provide valuable perspectives and strategies. So tutorship is important because it fosters discipline, motivation, and focus on your studies. You need someone ahead of you to be ahead of you as you prepare. What do I mean? You need someone you can be accountable to. Because if you're accountable for yourself, to yourself only, you find when you're lazy, there is no one who is going to double check you. When you're not, writing your essays well, or reading, or keeping up to date with current affairs, you won't have someone to see over you. So it's very important you get tutorship and mentorship. And trust me, anyone who has done this exam can actually tutor you. A first-year law student in Makerere or UCU can actually guide you on this exam. So seek tutorship and mentorship. So in as far as tutorship and mentorship is concerned, Vine Tutoring Hub offers the service of law pre-entry exam preparation, where we tutor you on the different subjects and we mentor you for purposes of passing that exam. And of course, most of you are asking, of all places, why should we choose Vine? Why choose us? There are very many service providers that are offering this service, but I can only speak for why you should choose us. One, we offer personalized support. What do we mean by personalized support? First of all, our support systems are data-based. That's why when you're going to register for any webinar, or even when you join our coaching program, we get every detail we can about you. We know your name, we know your former school, we know the universities you want to join. Now from that data, we start training you. And we even have regular assessments. You're going to do tests at Vines. We don't give you just an essay to write. Every 2 days, you're doing a full pre-entry exam. So from those tests, we know these are the students who are weak in numerical skills. These are the students who are weak in language skills, analytical writing. And then we create different programs, special class clinics There are people who say math is really a problem for them. We immediately create for you an extra class. That's how much our support system is personalized. We have follow-ups. When you come to Vines, as I said, we will take your data. We will know everything about you that we need to know. We'll even have a sheet whereby we know what you got in the first test, the second test, the third, the fourth, up to the 10th test. We'll follow up. So we know here she got 44, here she got 50. Why did she get 50? Here she got 70, but she declined. What could have been the cause of those declines? So we will follow up. It's not one of those places where you will just enter some random building, pay money and sit. No. Us here, we like to give you one-on-one support. So we'll give you mentorship as a person, and be assured that in Vine you have a wider group of peers, because the people who are going to mentor you are people who have gone through Vine, and then they have passed law school, and then they are coming back to mentor. That's why you find we have very many teams, besides even our tutors. There are students who have coached those who will be coming for our physical classes. You're going to see a number of past Vine students just coming in to say, how can we help? Who are the people coaching? Because that's how much you have access to a wider group of peers. Mostly those first years at law school, they usually like to come and hang out from where we are coaching, the Form 6 Bakis. So you have a wider group of peers. Even if you fear me, or you fear Marion or Desmond, you will definitely find someone you can connect with on a personal level that will help you through this journey, even after when you join law school. Then we have a comprehensive preparation program. And this program will cover everything you need, including critical thinking, numerical skills, analytical writing, and oral interview skills, ensuring that you are fully prepared for success. And our preparation is mainly in 4 major programs. 1, we have the pre-entry guidebook. Now, you have been sending pictures of the book and how you can purchase it. So that guidebook, it's there and it's on sale. Then we have law pre-entry coaching. We have both online and physical. Then we have regular webinars like this one we are doing. It's an informative webinar that we shall keep having on different legal topics. And then for those who come for coaching, you also have guest lectures. At least every 2 weeks, we bring other students who have passed pre-entry, but maybe they are so engaged in legal practice, they'll come and talk to you. So our program is so comprehensive that you have literally everything you need to know to prepare for this exam. So as I said, we have Navigating Law School Pre-Entry Exams, a comprehensive guide. This book was chief authored by me, and basically it's your trusted companion to help you tackle with the challenges of pre-entry exams and opening doors for you to join prestigious law schools. So it gives you strategies for excelling in various exam sections like legal, aptitude, general knowledge, writing skills. So it will help you develop critical thinking and problem solving skills. And we'll give, in the book, you'll find different questions. You'll find done questions, and then they'll give you different exercises that you can use to practice what you've read about. So this book is quite comprehensive. As I said, I'm not the only one who wrote the book. I just chief authored it. That's why my name appears. So it has distinguished authors. For example, besides me, there is a gentleman called Otim Calvin. He is a doctor by profession, but he has very good numerical skills. This is someone who attended a number of math contests. I believe most of you are familiar with those math competitions that were there during your high school. So he won at least 2, and he was among top 3 in others since he joined high school. He's a medical doctor, but he tutors American students online right from his work. So that's how good he is at math. And then you have Monica Akayo. She also authored this book. She's very good at language skills and analytical writing. There's a program on UBC. I think it's Your Space. Yeah, it's where the youth come and present different points. They engage politicians and talk about topics like corruption and all that. So if you watch UBC, you should check out for that show. You'll be able to see Monica. And then we also have Mr. Jerome Mpato Wagage, who is a very distinguished legal scholar. Okay, right now he's a lawyer, of course. He was the second best student in the law pre-entry exam of 2017. He graduated top of his class at law school in Makerere and also top of his class while he was at the Law Development Center in 2022. So the authors you see here, it was quite intentional that all of them had contributions to this book. So be sure that you'll be guided well as you read the content of this book. I'm sure those who have already purchased the book are seeing how deep the content is. So please make sure you get the book. And then, yeah, as I said, the book is on sale. It's for 70,000 shillings. You can order through the Vine administration number that is being displayed. I'll also send this poster to the group, and you'll be able to order and you start reading a book and you prepare for law pre-entry. Another advantage about this book is it prepares you for other aptitude tests, because pre-entry exams are not the only aptitude tests. You're going to do most government jobs, to be particular, public service jobs. They need you to do an aptitude test. You'll find a position has over 1,000 applicants and they need 5 people. So the best way to chop off people is by giving them an aptitude test. So when you get this book, you start building your skills in aptitude. Yes. So we also have law pre-entry tutoring programs for 2025. Most of you are asking, can you tell us about coaching? This is the coaching program you are asking about. We have, for this year, 2025, we are going to have coaching, and it's going to be both online and physical. Online classes will have 2 cohorts, and then physical classes will have 1 cohort. So the first cohort will be from 20th Jan. We are going to start a cohort on 20th Jan. It's going to be online. For those who want to start early, we are going to start on 20th Jan. It's going to be online, and then the second group will start on 3rd or 10th March. That will be after the release of your USCE results. So we put 3rd or 10th because we are not certain when exactly, but at least one of these 2 days we should be able to start, depending on when the Uganda National Examinations Board releases your results. Just know when they release your results on Friday, on Monday we start, if that's a simpler way to say it. So for the classes beginning on 20th Jan, we have online classes. They'll be Monday to Saturday, 6 days a week, and they'll be between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. those hours. And also note that this you get a guidebook if you're admitted to this tutoring program. It takes about 4 to 5 weeks of study. You also have guest lectures from lawyers, and then tests will be done twice a week after the release of USCE. So for those who are going to start coaching on 20th Jan, this online lot, you're going to be engaged even after the release of exams. You still do tests. You do the same tests with those who will be joining on 3rd or 10th March. So the content for those beginning before or after USCE results is going to be the same. It's up to you to choose which one is more convenient for you. Then beginning 3rd or 10th March, as I've said, we shall also have physical classes Monday to Saturday, 6 days a week, between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Usually we do Monday to Friday. Saturday you do a test, And then after lunch, we have special clinics for people who need special guidance on particular topics. So that's why it's Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. When you're admitted to the program, you get that pre-entry guidebook that we talked about. It is 4 to 5 weeks of study. You have guest lectures with lawyers, and then you have full law pre-entry mock tests that you'll be doing thrice a week during the program. So we give tests, we assess you as much as possible. Yeah. Then we also have online classes. I said there will be 2 cohorts, Monday to Saturday, 6 days a week, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and it will come with a guidebook. It will also be 4 to 5 weeks of study, guest lectures, full pre-entry mock tests will be done during the program. So the online classes, the 4 to 5 weeks course is 300,000, and then the physical classes is 400,000, because physical classes involve a lot of logistics like boards, microphones, chairs. So that's why the price is higher. Yeah, but it's the same content. And just to make you feel confident in our program, the best student in the law pre-entry exam of 2024 was a Vine student, and she did the online classes. I'm going to talk about her, but at this point, allow me bring it early that the best student in the pre-entry exams of last year actually did coaching, and she did it online. So yeah, as part of this fee, the 300 to 400,000, you'll be entitled to a guidebook. So for those who have already bought the pre-entry guidebook, you only pay, the 70,000 shillings will be discounted off for students who have already purchased the guidebook. So if you've already purchased the guidebook and you come for physical classes, you only pay 330, or if you come for online classes, you pay only 230. So I wanted to clarify that since a number of you were asking. So when it comes to our pre-entry program, it is comprehensive. We have a book, we have online classes, we have physical classes. So as a student, I advise find one that fits you, because as far as Vines is concerned, we try to create a program that helps everyone. We know some people may have financial difficulties, or they are working, or others stay far away from Kampala. So that's why I even introduced the online class in 2021. So find something. The bare minimum is at least get the guidebook. If you feel like, I don't know how many points I'm going to get, or I still want to enjoy VAC, at least get the guidebook and start. Then you can become, let me not say become serious, but you can actually choose to coach after your results. It will be the same content, so you will still get the same content anyway. But the point I'm making is find something and start preparing. At least get the book, then coach later, or start coaching now. Choose whichever is convenient for you. But as I said, one of the tips we gave you is prepare early. Do not wait for the last moment and start panicking, and then you find when you're panicking, the load, the content load you need to go through and prepare with is so heavy. But if you start now, it will be a walkover. Even us, we want you to start now, because for us, our coaching program, the one we are going to do after USC results, we want to focus so much on giving you tests. We assess you, we see what you've passed, what you've failed, give you corrections, go through those topics, then again you do another test. That's it. So start early, at least get something, start now. So another reason why you should choose us as Vines to mentor you and tutor you for this is because we are experts. We are expert mentors and tutors. You'll be able to learn from experienced legal professionals and accomplished law students who share strategies and insights from 2017 to excel in law school entry exams and the legal profession at large. We are not just students who passed the law pre-entry exam. We have studied it. We have given it attention. We have learned the trends. And so we know so much about pre-entry. It's at our fingertips that even teaching it is not as hard. So choose us because we are experts in this thing. And we have a number of tutors. We have myself, Lorraine Aguti. I won't say much because I already shared my bio. You have people like Benjamin Simayanja. He was one of the top students in his year. He will be teaching you guys language skills, and he's a very good lawyer. Even when he was a law student, he went for very, very prestigious moots. He went for, there's a moot I think he won in Kenya and Rwanda as the best oralist. And then in his 4th year, he traveled to Washington, D.C. to do the Philip Jessup moot. So these are people who are not going to teach you about pre-entry, but they're going to even teach you how to excel as a law student, you know, teaching you the different trends as a practicing lawyer. We have people like Yvonne Ainemigisha. She was the 4th best student in the 2017 law pre-entry exam. She was number 4. You have Calvin, I already explained. He's a math guru, math expert. I have nothing much to add. You have Marcia Awino. I think she was number 9. She also got government scholarship in 2017. You have Mr. Ian Wansada. He's a very distinguished man when it comes to aptitude. Monica. You have Mr. Kasibante D. Muyinza. This is a general knowledge expert. When it comes to general knowledge, he's very dangerous. So these are the people. He's also a lawyer, and he's practicing a very unique part of law. He's doing space law. Most of you are looking at, you know, land law in Uganda. For him, he's looking at the laws that govern space, like Mars, trips to the moon, and things like that. I think he'll be able to tell you more about it. Then we also have Mr. Atwine M. Tayebwa. He is very good at logical math. So for analytical, for numerical skills, you're going to have 2 tutors. And we put 2 tutors because we have at least 2 classes for numerical skills, because most students say I have a math background, so I don't understand. So we give you 2 tutors. At least one of them will help you navigate that section. And finally, we have a new tutor on the team, who is Nakiria Winfred Stella. She is the one I was talking about. She was the best student in the 2024 law pre-entry exam. She was one of the students we mentored last year, and she was able to pass. So she's going to come and she's going to focus on exam strategy. How do you strategize yourself in a way that helps you pass the pre-entry exam? She'll go through those small details of analytical writing. What should you look out for in aptitude? This is how you should solve a number. In language skills, like this, like that. So she's going to be there, and she's happy to tutor you, and also ensure that you people also get excellent grades and also get on government scholarship. So we also have guest lectures. I'd mentioned you won't just have tutors telling you about pre-entry. We deliberately bring different people to come and mentor you. We have Mr. Impata Jerome. He will tutor you, but he's also going to tell you about law school and life after law school. We have Mrs. Winnie Begumisa is a tax expert. Those on Twitter, there is someone called Tax Mamba. That is her. She is a tax, she specialized in tax law. That's why they call her Tax Mamba. So these are the people we usually bring. We have Ruth Chitamurike. She is a young lawyer, and she's very dominant in those spaces that deal with the Austrian Embassy, United Nations. She's one of the people who joined United Nations early in Uganda, and yet she's still young. She's not yet even 26. So these are the people we bring. We have Percy Christopher, Mr. Percy Mpindi. He was the president, Makerere Law Society. So these are the people who come and give you guest lectures. They'll talk about the pre-entry exam, but they'll also give you an extended form of mentorship to cover law school and the legal profession. So we are quite intentional about the people we bring for these guest lectures. And then we have continuous webinars. So far as law school is concerned, we are doing a webinar on today. The webinar we are doing is on law pre-entry exams and law school admissions. We are going to have another webinar at 2-3 weeks from now that's going to be on life at law school, and then you'll be also looking at career path as a lawyer. Most of you in the question section of the forms you filled, you are asking what careers are available for lawyers. You know, how can one specialize? So we are going to bring speakers who are going to talk about that area of specializing. You can even see last year we had different people. I think if you see this poster behind, or if you check our social media handles, you should be able to see which people we bring to be part of these webinars as speakers. Yeah. So another reason why you should consider Vine Tutoring Hub to mentor you for law school pre-entry exams and law school generally is that we adopt a result-oriented approach. For us, it's not just about tutoring you and then you leave. No, we focus so much on percentages, and we track our patterns. So we have a strong track record of success. Our clients secure places in competitive law programs through our comprehensive and rigorous law pre-entry preparation strategy. And we have an annual passing rate of 70 to 80%. So that's how it is at Vines. If I'm to give you the general statistics showing those admitted to law school, those who were mentored by Vines, I can guarantee you that 80% of our students were admitted to law school, and then only 20% chose to do other courses. And there's a reason I said the word chose, because as long as you have 12 or 13 points, you can be admitted to any law school in Uganda. At least the ones that don't do pre-entry, you should go. But this particular 20% just chose to do other courses. If I'm to give you a proper breakdown, the results, I would say we had 30% passed Makerere. This is those who did only Makerere, because we also have 18% who did Makerere and UCU. So 18% passed both Makerere and the UCU exam. Then we had those who only wanted to do UCU and they passed, 23%. Then other universities, we have people from who went to Nkumba, IU, KIU, and then those who chose other courses. So I believe these are being shared. And then, if maybe this would give a better understanding, we had a total of 77 students. 29 passed MOOC, 22 passed UCU, and then 18 passed both MOOC and UCU. So in total, MOOC we had 47 out of 77, and then UCU 40 out of 77. Then KIU we have 3 people who have gone there. IU we have 3, Nkumba 1, and then those who chose other courses 19. And most of these people who are other courses, most of them were very particular. They said, me, if Makerere doesn't give me, I won't do law. I'll do any other course, but still in Makerere. So that's how we got this 19. Yeah. So these are our rates, and as far as our statistics are concerned, we give you accurate statistics. We have no reason to exaggerate or make it higher than it is. We give you what it is so that you make an informed decision before coming to Vines. As I said, one of the core values we appreciate and apply as Vines is integrity. Integrity is very, very important. So another reason why you should choose us is because we have proven success stories. We are not just giving you numbers, but our success stories highlight the effectiveness of our comprehensive and rigorous pre-entry preparation, helping clients secure places in top law programs and excel in their legal careers. When you look at, we managed to post our top 4 students. We had many who passed, but we wanted the top 4 who passed Makerere. The first, of course, was Nakiria Winfred. Out of she was the first out of 2,638. We rated based on the number of high school students. Of course, there were about 2,850 who sat, but we are looking at the high school leavers. Remember, there are high school leavers, and then there are people who did diploma holders, degree holders. When you look at the pre-entry results, they have their own lists, and they're all ranked in those different lists of 100 or 150. But first, we are basing on high school leavers. So Nakiria Winfred was number 1. Number 2, we have Nsamba Machida. She was number 12 out of 2,638. Then we have Nuwagaba Emmanuel. He was number 17 out of 2,638. We have Marion, who was number 21 out of 2,338. As I had mentioned, we had about I think 7 to 8 students who got government scholarships, but these are our top 4. We usually like to post our top 4. So we have testimonies. As I had mentioned, we do have testimonies, and I wanted to highlight this testimony because this particular student called Nakiria Winfred Esther, she was a science student, and she wanted to do law. She didn't want to do medicine. So she came and she was mentored by us, and she passed. So her testimony, if you've seen our bronchi, it's written there. And even when the pre-entry results came back, Daily Monitor looked for her, and they published her story. So you should read this article. I think they'll also be able to share it. And then the science students on this platform who feel like, I've always wanted to do law, but my parents want me to do medicine or engineering, or I don't think law is fit for me. So her story is actually going to inspire you to actually chase what you want. So kindly read that testimony when you get time. We also have other testimonies. For example, Mr. Conrad. Mr. Conrad was our student in 2022. He talks about how our mentorship programs are exceptional, and through our program, he was able to connect with seasoned law students who provided invaluable support. So he says our guidance extended to all aspects of his studies, from navigating complex cases to excelling in moods and coursework. And he highly recommends our mentorship for any aspiring law student. We also have Mr. Jerry. He did pre-entry in 2023, and he says because of Vine, he was able to be among the top 5 students in the 2023 law pre-entry exam. So these are some of the testimonies. Now, another reason, which is the final reason I'm giving you why you should consider Vines, is we do a lot of confidence building. Beyond law school pre-entry tutoring, we mentor you throughout law school, supporting your studies, internships, moot court competitions, recommendations, while helping you build the confidence you need to excel in the legal field. Basically, what we do at Vines is we don't stop at pre-entry. We take you a step ahead. We keep pushing you. That's why you find even some of the students that I mentored in 2018, 2019, I'm still in touch with them. Some of them have graduated, they've even finished LDC. But I told you it's a wider group. For Vine, it's like a family for us. So we keep following up with you. We send you opportunities. We recommend you to do internships in certain places, because you find it's a group of lawyers. You understand? So last year, when our students who were able to be admitted, we had a session called Navigating Year 1 of Law School. So during this session, we brought Mr. Alado. Mr. Alado is one of the few students at Makerere Law School who has been able to have a first class. Ever since Makerere started law school, I think in 1970, if I'm not mistaken, there have only been 9 first classes. From 1970 up to date, 2025, there are only 9 students who got first classes. And Mr. Alado is among those 9 students. So he came, and I was able to host him as Vines, and he talked to Vine students. He talked about managing coursework, achieving high grades, preparing for exams. So we had an impactful session, because I've noticed as a career coach, most of the students who join law school, first year is very it's very complicated. Let me use the word complicated, not hard. You find that, you know, you've just left high school, the life in campus is different, and then law school is different from any other course. You're going to completely switch from what you've been doing. So many students become overwhelmed. So why we have this program is to make things easier for you. So we really break down these things and tell you it's not hard, it's doable, this is what we need to do. So we had this session. You can see this is one of the group photos we took. We have likes like Marion, Emmanuel, you know, some of those students I put, there were many more. We had the session in class. You can even see in this picture here, we had a third year. He's part of Vines. He also came to mentor. And it's not just MOOC. We do it for other universities. Now, like UCU, I had a discussion with this particular group of people. They needed some understanding of constitutional law and history. So this was a Friday, I think, or Saturday, where we had a discussion. So we go with you. It's a family. It's a family. You get irritated with us. That's how you find when you come to Vines, they keep that same group. Even when they're in law school, they're always together. They're always hanging out together. So we give you that family, which is very important in law school, because law school is very diverse. It's quite complex. So you need a family that will hold your hand. And Vines is really willing to give you that. And guess what? Most of these extra mentorship series or webinars, they're actually free of charge. Our students don't pay for this. It's actually us who take the initiative and give to them. So we do this free of charge. We don't want to burden you. So this is one of the things we do as Vines. So I think that's it for my presentation. Allow me go into the Q&A session. There are a number of people who sent questions on the webinar form. I've tried to answer most of them, I believe, because most of them were directly linked to this presentation. So
I have been receiving a number of questions that I would like you to clarify.
Okay.
Also in regard to why does Vine start coaching after the results are out? Why is it not like other groups that start as early as 2nd of January? Why does Vine choose a time when results have come out first and then they start coaching? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that question, whoever asked it. Now, the reason why we chose to do coaching after the release of USC results essentially is that, one, by the time these results come back, a student is settled mentally that they want to do law. Because there are a number of instances where we have seen students, they start preparing for the law school pre-entry exam only for UNEB results to come back and they don't even have the points. So you imagine the kind of frustration you and your parent would have. You've been paying for coaching from 2nd January. You're giving your child school fees, not school fees, transport to go to whichever place they are going to, only for them to qualify not to even do the exam. So that's one of the reasons. But it doesn't mean that shouldn't stop you. It's one of the reasons. So why we do it is because we believe you only need 4 weeks to prepare for that exam. And our preparation program is very comprehensive, because you're going to come and you will study 6 days a week. And that will be it. We trust our syllabus and our system has been shown to have results. But however, this year we have had so many demands of people saying, no, we want to start. For us, we are sure we have the points. We are going to get those 12 points and 13 points. And we said, well and good. Let's give you people an intake. So we are going to have coaching from 20th January for those who really want to start early, which is okay, 20th January. And this particular intake is going to be online. So you'll be able to coach and start preparing as early as possible. So we want to give you as much as we can to make you comfortable, and if it's convenient, yeah, so you can still coach with us after before the release of USCA questions. Thank you.
There are some questions in the group chat. I don't know if I can read them out for you just quickly.
Okay.
Do you mind giving us the timetable on the WhatsApp group?
Yes, we'll be sharing the timetable on the course of this week, because coaching is starting on 20th. We are going to use these 2 weeks to give you the materials. And also remember, I'd mentioned those who want to do online coaching, you're going to, as long as you've paid, you're going to get access to the book. So I wanted most of you to get access to the book before that coaching cohort starts, because the book is what they are going to use. The book has a number of exercises, so your tutors are going to go through those exercises and explain. But we'll be able to send you the timetable. On our side, we are ready. Even the tutors will be ready to teach you from 20th January. Yes, any other questions?
Is the book available in soft copy?
No, the book is not available in soft copy. We only have hard copy. The soft copy will be available once we finish those Amazon requirements. But for now, we only have hard copy. And you may not necessarily need even soft copy, because even if you're in Nakapiripirit, we had people who are doing online classes from Nakapiripirit, from Gulu, from Bara. We can deliver this book to those locations. So don't be worried about distance. There was someone who asked, what if I pass pre-entry and you're given another course? Yes, it is very possible to pass pre-entry and still be given another course, because in most cases, these other courses like social sciences, economics, etc. I don't know why I keep using social sciences, but other courses generally, education, medicine, their lists come out before even the pre-entry results are out. So you'll find some of you will be given like economics, and then you get economics on government, and then the pre-entry results come back. You realize you've also passed pre-entry and I've also given you on government. So you even have a choice. So it's a good thing to actually have choices. It's not a bad thing, yeah. So it would actually be nice if you're able to choose what you want to do and what you want to proceed with. You also have a number of instances where you find students who get let's say they get government for a course like education at MOOC, and then they get private law at UCU. So you have to balance. Do you want government scholarship on education, or you want to go? So that's very much a personal decision, but we shall be able to guide you through. I'm seeing there are other questions here, but most of the questions I'm seeing, they deal with the career aspect of law in terms of legal practice. So we'll be able to help you. There's someone here who asked, my dream is to be a lawyer, but I'm really scared of results. Can you tell me what it takes as far as results are concerned? Are you going to help me? Yes, we are going to help you. Specialization, we shall look at it in the next webinars. Is there a place I can acquire copies of numerous pre-entry past papers? Yes, thank you to whoever sent this question. Now, when you register for the Makerere Law School pre-entry exams, you're going to be given copies of all the past papers. So don't waste money looking, because good thing you already have soft copy, but when you start registering for that pre-entry exam, they're going to give you copies from 2023 backwards, 2024 backwards. So don't worry, you'll get aspects. Navigating law school while doing business and work. I believe the next webinar will handle this, because they're going to talk about life at law school. What activities can I be doing now to prepare me for the law career? Start preparing for the pre-entry exam.
I was asking, like as if when like when you pass the pre-entry exam and maybe your results come back when you have not made it, like the points to apply for the course of law, then how is the outcome?
Oh, thank you for that question. I'd actually forgotten to deal with it. So what you need to do is, there's a reason why I gave you all the universities that offer law in Uganda. And it's not just Uganda, you have universities abroad if you can afford. So when you do not pass the Makerere law pre-entry exam, it's not the end of life. Let me be very specific. And it's not the end of your dream to become a lawyer. You understand? So you can always go. There are other good universities. UCU is equally as good as MOOC. You have KIU. You have international university, IU. If you look at a university like IU, if you look at the LDC results, most of those students in the top 20s, they actually come from, is it Islamic University in Uganda, IU, that university. So it's not the end. You just need to reset and then see what is your plan B. Of course, some other people are like, for me, if I'm not getting Makerere, then I want to do law in any other university. And me, I think it's mostly an issue of pride, because it seems you're not so passionate about law that the moment you fail, you want to do something else. So you can still do law in these other universities. Success in your legal career is a very personal factor, because it's very possible to go to a good university like Makerere, but you fail to distinguish yourself. I've seen students from KIU who are doing well. Some of them are even judges of the High Court. They are mentoring people. So being a successful lawyer doesn't so much depend only on the university you go to. There are other factors that come in place. Your personal discipline, your ability to network with people, your other disciplines like hard work, persistence. So you have so many options in case you fail the law pre-entry exam. But I wouldn't even think of failing now, because you have about 3.5 months to prepare for that exam. So you do your best, put in your best shot, and then when results come, you can now see what to do. Yeah.
So, like, what if you fail the pre-entry exams? Like, are you given another course in another university or something else?
Yeah, you'll be given other courses, because remember, most of you filled out Pujab forms. So if you filled out that Pujab form and in your name you get like 18 points, be sure 17 and above 18, there are 20, you know that you're already eligible to government courses. These courses on rather government scholarship, and then you'll also be able to apply for private courses. So as long as, because the moment you have your 12-13 points, you can get a good course at the university, not just law. So for you law students, you always have a backup plan, because by the time you do pre-entry, you've already performed well. They consider you as someone who has passed. You've performed well. So you have many options besides law. You just have to make sure that you keep in touch with those application processes, because even when you're going to apply for law private, you're going to have to put law as your first choice, and then you put other courses, economics, education, psychiatry, etc., and things like that. So you definitely have options. I hope my answers cleared that query, Jemima.
I had another question.
Yes, please feel free to ask.
What if like when the exams are out and you've passed very well, maybe I've got 18 points, then the time of answering the pre-entry exam, maybe you fail to make it. Now, what is the outcome then?
Yeah, so the pre-entry exam at MOOC, unfortunately, they do it in one day. So if you're not able to make it on that day, you'll be recommended to do the exam next year. Actually, I think if you apply for government scholarship, your application is valid for 2 to 3 years. So most people come back and redo that exam. Some of them fail to make it. That's why even on that results list, they put a list of about 30 students who failed to show up. But I don't think you should think about that right now. I've noticed most of the students on this Future Lawyers Law Students platform, they are so scared. They're like, what if I fail? What if? No, you don't need to worry. As I said, for now, keep your focus, do your best, and when the time reaches, you go with time. There's a saying that says, don't try to cross the river before even you reach the bridge. Yeah, you find you're so far from the river, but you're already thinking about, oh my God, which boat am I going to use? How will I walk on the bridge? So you take it one step at a time. If you keep looking at the possible things in the future that could go wrong, you end up giving yourself a lot of unnecessary anxiety. So I'd really recommend take it one step at a time. Right now your life is okay. Yeah, start preparing for the exam and, keep things simple. Yeah. I hope that I've clarified the question you asked.
Okay. Me as a person who is preparing for law, who could be preparing for pre-entry, what, as my career coaches, what would you advise me to mainly focus on during my preparations so that I manage to pass out on the list?
Yeah, thank you for that question. That's actually a good question. So earlier in the presentation, I'd mentioned when it comes to preparing for pre-entry, have a balanced approach. Yes, these questions have different marks. Some have 30, 10, but I'd advise a balanced approach. That the students who score highly in these exams, they learned how to balance. Don't first of all sport, because I've seen many students who like sporting. They be like, me general knowledge is not my thing. Or me math, I've never liked math. Let me concentrate on other sections. Yet the math section actually carries a lot of marks. The math section, every question you answer, it's one question, but that A you get correct, they give you 2 marks. It's not like language skills where one question gives you 1 mark. For numerical skills, they give you 2 because they assume you had a proper working and the answer. So they give you 2. Even if maybe you are doing the exam and randomly you said, I think it's B and B is the correct answer, they'll give you 2. So the thing is, have a balanced approach. That's why when you come to Vines, you find each class has a day. We don't say, no, as we are not doing this. You have like classes, 2. You have, a class for at least each subject, analytical writing, like that. And they have their own tutors. And the interesting thing is that as Vines, these people who tutor you, they can tutor any subject. For example, me, I can teach math. I don't like math, but from my experience, I've learned math. I can teach analytical writing. I can teach all those subjects, but I choose to focus on aptitude and oral interviews because I want to give my best so that people can have the best of those sections. Yes, I can teach the rest, but I would rather people who are better than me teach those particular parts. That's why we don't just bring law students. We bring actual experts in math to teach you so that you get the very best service that you can get. So the point I was trying to make was have a balanced approach. That's why these regular assessments are good, so that you know your strong areas and weak areas. Your weak areas, get time, keep revising them, get people who can teach you, so that by the time you reach the pre-entry exam, you're now balanced. It's not you're good in one side and the other side is lacking. Because sometimes you can say, for me, I watch news every day, I'm so good at general knowledge, and then they bring general knowledge questions so much on history and sports, and you never prepared for those areas. So that's why sporting is not good. You have to have a balanced and leveled approach as you prepare.
Okay, if you're asking from history, like do they also ask A-level questions? Because some people, okay, we offer different combinations. So do they ask questions from the A-level side or O-level?
Aha.
Thank you so much.
That's a very good question. They ask you anything. That's why when I was defining general knowledge, it means not general knowledge that is specified. You must have knowledge of different subjects, because most of you are art students. But if you look at those past papers, they're asking you about medical terms. Medical. They'll ask you what is the name of the doctor that specializes in heart issues, which kind of doctors, the name of the specialist who specializes in treating children. So they'll ask you even things in primary. Actually, if you look at that SST paper that they do in primary, it is very potential for pre-entry exams. I was in shock when I found out that fact. I opened a past PLE book and I realized these things are actually not easy. So they ask anything. They can ask you about the Cold War, Napoleon. They can ask you about Ugandan history. They ask you things before even you are born. So the point is, they can ask anything. That's why you need to get good resources. And one of those resources I was telling you about is the guidebook. I want to see if I can send a picture of the guidebook. The general knowledge section was written by Mr. Empata Jerome in that guidebook. He is a very informed gentleman, and what actually gives him experience is that he practiced medicine. He did a pharmacy degree, then he came and joined law school, so he's very knowledgeable. And in the book, he tries to break down the different topics that are potential in general knowledge. How do you prepare for general knowledge? He tells you tips on how to pass. He gives you different topics, and he even gives you trial questions that you can test. Right now I have the book. I'm looking at the general knowledge section. He mentions that one of the areas they ask is the United Nations system, and then he talks about it, then he gives sample questions. Name one country that is not a member of the United Nations. Where are the United Nations headquarters located? Or which organ of the United Nations is the administrative arm responsible for carrying out day-to-day work? So such resources like this book, it helps you structure, you get, because it's so wide. But at least if you have good resources and a system, questions you can answer, tutors, you're doing tests all the time, you find that you're in a better position than just sitting there and preparing on your own. And don't get me wrong, it is actually very easy to prepare. Not very easy. What I wanted to use, it's possible to prepare for pre-entry on your own, because I know a number of students that didn't coach. They didn't do anything, but they passed and got government. And in the group, I told you a story of my friend. He was a BCM student. 1 week to the deadline of pre-entry, is like, Lorraine, come and tell me what you know about pre-entry. I want to register for that paper for fun to see if I will. He did it, and he was, among the top 10 in our year. But of course, for him, he had special qualities, like he watches news all the time. As people are watching series, he likes, watching CNN, Al Jazeera, and all that stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is, you can prepare on your own. But from the trend we are seeing now, the pre-entry exam gets harder and harder, because even Senate building at Makerere, they know people are coaching for pre-entry, so they make it hard. For someone who is not, you really do yourself, a disservice. At least get tutorship from someone in first or second year or third year. You understand? Most of those big lawyers didn't do pre-entry, because pre-entry came in 2012. So find a system that keeps you busy, that keeps giving you questions, that keeps giving you topics. That's actually what's going to help, because this exam keeps getting harder. The exam these people did in 2024 was so shocking for me, because I saw a question that had, what is EIA in full, in the context of environment and stuff like that. But now that term EIA, I learned it in my 3rd year at law school because I chose to do environmental law as an elective. So the word EIA means environmental impact assessment. So in my head, I was wondering, why would they give such a question to senior 6 fac? It's like, this is not content for their level. This is legal material, you get? Because they ask even legal questions. If you look at the past papers, they'll ask you questions like, what is the meaning of the word, amicus curiae? They ask you what is the meaning of the, words like mens rea, because they presume you must have some basic legal knowledge. Or what is the title of the highest court in Uganda? Who is the current Chief Justice? And one of the things I believe they're going to ask is, who is the Deputy Chief Justice? Because they're about to appoint that position. Before you do the pre-entries, they'll ask you, or who is the current head of the Judicial Service Commission? So you really need to work with resources that will expose you to these potential areas, because preparing for pre-entry it's not as hard. But now you see the beauty with Vines, we even do quizzes to make sure people are up to date. You find that there are certain things you've not read, but in that class environment, when people are discussing, doing a quiz, we had a student called Morris and Marion. They were the class representatives. We used to start class at 8:30. So between 8 and 8:30, they're in front discussing with their colleagues. What did you watch in news last night? Things like that. So that's a system. So you find a question comes in pre-entry, you didn't research, but you remember someone talks about it during the coaching period. So you need to have such systems that will help you. Don't prepare for this exam on your own. You can, but I would recommend have a good system that actually works for you. Even if it's not with Vines, just find a way to make sure that you're at par with some of these things. Yeah. Let that be the final question, please.
Like, okay, are there questions, or like if you do like everything, like all questions, you attempt all?
Yes, you have to attempt all questions. One of the things I tell my students when I'm preparing them for pre-entry is that you have to do all the questions. This is because the moment you leave a section undone, they automatically disqualify you. So you have to do the questions. And the beauty is most of these questions are ABCD, objective based. If it's so bad, because the only hard section that is hard, because you have to produce an answer, is general knowledge, because you have to write the actual answer. But questions like aptitude, even if you don't know, find a way and give at least the best logical answer. So you have to do all the answers, because sometimes even in guessing you could randomly guess. And another thing I tell my students when I'm training them for this exam is every mark is important, and I'm going to tell you why. You find that people who get 49, they usually get a lot of regrets. They're like, oh my God, I left 3 questions undone. If I did them, I would have gotten 50 or 51 and passed. Or they have decided we are going to give government at 63 and you have 62. Yet government scholarship is at 63. That's why I tell you, everything, every mark in that exam is important. There is a friend of mine who, when he's helping me tutor, he tells the students that 1 mark can make or break you. That 1 mark could be the reason you don't get admitted to law school, or the reason you miss government scholarship. So you just don't be picky, do all the questions. But I was hoping maybe we could have some testimonies. There are some testimonies that are displayed on the screen. I'm seeing there are a number of former Vine students. I told you they like hanging around, Vine's programs. That's how much they are family to us. And capacities, you could unmute and give your testimonies about Vines. Yeah, and let people know about your experience.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lorraine, for this wonderful opportunity. Thanks so much for the presentation. A very good evening to you all, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Akoli Marion Kate, and I was in the Vines cohort of 2024. I am a law student, government sponsored, in my first year. So, as already mentioned, I coached with Vines in 2024, and basically, just like many of you, all I can say is that it wasn't easy. For me, it wasn't really easy because we came from a point. Actually, you guys are very lucky that you're having some of these webinars early. Now, for us, we got to know about the pre-entry coaching a bit later on. And by the time that we got to know about the pre-entry coaching, there were very many groups. Yeah, so many groups. I don't want to mention any group's name, but there were very many groups that were already coaching people for the pre-entries. When I got to find out about Vines, I found out about Vines from my cousin. My cousin was called Benjamin, who also happened to have trained for his pre-entry examination with Vines. Currently, he is done with law school and he's at the Law Development Center doing his back course. So Benjamin tells me that, Marion, you know what, you should be patient. You train with Vines. But of course, I was jumping. I felt that Vine starting after results were out was a bit late. So I was like, no, Benji, for me, I want to start coaching earlier. Benjamin was like, okay, it's fine. You start coaching earlier. So I go and then I start coaching with a particular group. I will not again mention the name. I start coaching with a particular pre-entry group. However, for me, it did not deliver the kind of quality that I expected, because they promised so much. They promised us so much. When I say they promised us so much, they promised us so much. However, upon reaching there, the tutors were not experts. They were merely chosen from different secondary schools to tutor us. There was a lot of favoritism and all that. Yeah. However, when I finally joined Vines, yeah, it is a decision that I feel if I had not made, I would not have gotten my government sponsorship. I would not have relieved my parents of the burden of, constantly paying school fees and all that. My experience with Vines was extremely amazing because I feel like it took me out of the comfort zone of only thinking about pre-entry. It was a whole experience. That is what I can say. For the people that are going to the physical class, trust me, you're going to have the time of your life. It was a whole experience. It was amazing. It was the first time I was taught by a space lawyer, that is David. If at all you join the physical class, you'll get to know more about him. It was a whole experience. It was amazing. The team at Vines is accountable. That is what I can say. They are immensely accountable. These are people that are going to follow you. When I tell that they know you to the dot, they know you, your parents, your next of kin, the universities that you want to go to. Have you sat for the pre-entry? After sitting for the pre-entry, they will look for you one by one, looking for your marks. Okay, you say that maybe you wanted to go to Makerere. How did you perform? You say that you had wanted to go to Nkumba. They look for each and every one of you as long as you have registered for their program. They do not stop there. They follow you to the university. Trust me, they follow us. Like I am here talking, but they follow us in terms of how are we doing, how are our grades, what are we getting in coursework, do we need guidance at the university, and they still constantly bring people at the university to guide us. So that is why I say that Vines should be your place of choice. Yeah, it is not just about money, because very many groups are out there. Yes, I saw in the comment section someone say that there is competition. Competition is tight. It's true, there is competition, but for Vines, I realized that it is not just about money. They go an extra mile to see that you have achieved your dream career and you are actually thriving in it. They do not do this thing of, okay, we have coached you, now you go. Bye. No, it does not. They are not like that. So take it from me. Take me as a living testimony. I rushed and I crashed. Yeah. But after me making the firm decision to coach with Vines, here I am on my government scholarship, enjoying government allowance, and having a good time. So you can be like me, or you can even be better than me by taking that decision to join Vines. Come 20th January, We are going to have the online classes, and yes, we shall be waiting to see you there. Thank you so much.
Keep in touch with us, follow our social media, follow our WhatsApp channel, all our social media handles we post, so don't forget to follow so that you keep up to date. And there are other opportunities that we get that we keep sharing, not just about pre-entry. There are other trainings that could even be free, like at the American Embassy, or human rights courses that I think I shared one recently. So keep in touch so that you're able to keep in touch, because what makes you a good liar is not just passing pre-entry. You must be very intentional about your other skills, because that's what distinguishes you. So ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a good evening, and we'll keep in touch. Yeah, so that's it.